Just to do a quick round robin of introductions, I'm going to pass the ball all the way down, let you introduce yourself, and then jump into some QA.
Christina Arrieta, Executive Director of Social Strategy at MGM Resorts International. I oversee social content strategy, social care, listening, and influencer partnerships for majority of the brand's properties on the Las Vegas Strip.
Hi, everyone. Marissa Fortson. I'm the head of consumer marketing at Avantstay, which is a vacation rental management platform. It's the best way to travel for groups.
Hello, everyone. My name is Astrid Emanueli. I am from Puerto Rico, and I work with Discover Puerto Rico, which is the island's destination marketing organization. I am their social media manager, and I oversee everything social media, from strategy to performance to optimization, trends, you name it. We're a team of two, and yeah, very excited to be here.
And my name is Lisa Jordan. I'm the Senior Director of Digital Marketing with Red Roof. We are an upscale economy hotel brand. We have 4 brands within Red Roof, and we are primarily domestic with about 670 hotels across the United States.
Fantastic. And I am David Shad Power, born and raised in Los Angeles, father of 4, also the founder of Social Native. Social Native is a marketplace built around helping you source content you need to fuel ads and commerce. So imagine customer content, employee content, gig economy, influencer content, whatever it may be. One-stop solution, press a couple buttons, build a huge library for yourself to stay relevant in the new economy. Okay, with that, we're going to jump into QA. I'm going to start all the way at the right. Digital trends and importance of social media. What does digital transformation mean to you, and how are things changing on your end?
You know, social marketing is always changing, ever evolving. So, you know, how are we keeping up with, you know, the algorithm changes and the content changes? So, you know, we have, you know, at MGM Resorts, we have an amazing team of, you know, creatives and passionate team members that are staying up to date, you know, testing out the latest and greatest, you know, content types, whether it's short form, long form, TikTok style videos. You know, that's kind of how we, you know, stay ever evolving with the changing landscape.
And maybe for the audience, does anyone here have any form of anxiety about the constant changing algorithms and new platforms? All right, fantastic. Amazing. All right, you're up.
Sure. So I think for us at Avantstay, digital and how that blends with hospitality is kind of at the core of what we do. You know, everything is booked online, everything is managed through our app, concierge, guest services, all of that. So being at the forefront of that when it comes to social media is also really important to stay relevant for us. So similarly, staying on top of all of the trends, shifting towards platforms where we start to see better engagement, like TikTok has been really strong for us, and also knowing that that's where the next generation is going, right? Like, our audience is headed in that direction, and they are no longer on Facebook or even on Instagram in some cases. So, you know, kind of shifting to make sure that we are staying on top of, you know, where our audience is.
To further echo that, this I don't hear very often, which is really following the customer, not the brand's playbook. Like, her customer is off on TikTok, and maybe they just finished their Instagram playbook. I'm making that up, I don't know. And it hurts a lot to leave and go to TikTok, but that's the name of the game, right?
So to me, the social transformation not only echoes like a change in our culture, but also a required change in the way that we think. In Discover Puerto Rico, social media is not only, it's not an afterthought. It's not something that is simply like woven into the fabric of the idea, but we actually use social as an aid to lead the efforts that we have in campaigns or activations. And so social media, we use it to stay connected to our travelers and to entice others to travel to the island through compelling content that inspires. But especially after the pandemic, social media for us has become huge because Puerto Rico is an island, and so we needed to stay on the forefront and in constant communication with our travelers to make sure that if they were traveling to the island, they knew the guidelines, they knew the restrictions in place, especially because to get to the island, they would have to take an airplane or a cruise ship. It wasn't as easy as, just doing a road trip. So we found in social media, of course, the optimal way to keep our travelers, informed in a timely manner.
Lisa?
I think two things come to mind when I think about digital transformation for Red Roof. And the first one is that in social media, we've seen an increasing blurring of the lines between what I used to consider pure marketing in social media, and now a lot more customer service has entered social media for us. And I think that's been present for a long time, but I think it also accelerated and increased even further during the pandemic, with customers or followers reaching out to us with questions, are you open? Is your swimming pool open? Are you serving breakfast? Things like that, even helping customers with complaints or issues and escalating that and partnering with our guest relations. So the transformation has really started to involve even more departments and more people, more functions across Red Roof in social. So that's one of the big digital transformations. And then partly in response, but also just to continue moving social media forward, we are really emphasizing a digital-first approach within social, but also customer service, reservations, sales, guest relations, as well as a focus on an omni-channel marketing strategy that really is helping customers feel connected and understand who we are, how to get in touch with us with consistent and clear messaging, but also a convenient way to get in touch with us. And social media is increasingly becoming that way that they like to reach out.
That's a big task.
It is.
And then I'll share some perspective at Social Native. We have hundreds of the Fortune 500 brands, and some of the larger travel brands like Four Seasons. What I'm seeing them do that's very unique and different is embracing social not as a line item, but actually embracing it. For example, a lot of luxury brands really like to use high production quality content. They really like to use it. But authenticity and empowering a little bit more of like a lo-fi piece of content is what's resonating on some of these new platforms. So a lot of times you find yourself educating your team on a transformation, doing things wildly different. And with that, I'll throw out a different prompt. How can a brand create authentic, engaging content that drives value for your brand?
It's connecting with your audiences. So, tapping into, where they're taking photos on our properties, or, how can we elevate or repurpose their content, UGC, influencer content that, they can come in and really create that authentic voice and tell the story of the essence and energy of your brand. Basically, that's the kind of content that really is going to help drive that narrative of this is a real person stays here. It's not just an ad or a promo, a high-end promo poster that we're just pushing out on social, and it's salesy. It's really connecting with that audience and really honing in on that authenticity.
It's beautiful. Marissa, you ready?
I would just add to that, like you said about influencer content, what we are really looking at is what our guests are posting. We ask them to tag us when they share, and kind of figuring out what are those moments that they're sharing, what are the moments that the influencers are sharing, and then how do we either leverage that or recreate it in our own way that tells our story. So again, really listening to the consumer and kind of understanding what's resonating with them before we try and push content out on them.
So in our case, Discover Puerto Rico is all about authenticity, and I have the best example right now. Our brand campaign is called Live Boricua. So live, of course, is to live, and then Boricua is the word that we use to call Puerto Rican person. So I am a Boricua woman. So Boricua is a Puerto Rican by birth or descent, and what we're doing in this campaign, which is so innovative, is we're putting out there who Puerto Rico is instead of what Puerto Rico is and what the island has to offer. So the invitation to live Boricua is to live like the locals, and instead of just visiting the island, experience the island like a local, so you can see the difference that will make in your experience, and you'll actually love it even more and establish more meaningful connections. So for us, authenticity is all about finding that brand ethos, what makes you apart from the rest, and building your content around that. And just so you have an idea of the ROI that this campaign is having at the moment, this campaign started back in May, and up to date it has generated 19 million impressions, which is a 99% increase year over year, in comparison, of course, to last year. And then regarding reach, the campaign has reached more than 10 million social media users, which is a 51% year-over-year increase. And we are confident that these successful results are tied to that authentic nature that the campaign has in itself.
Were you behind last night's concert?
To Bad Bunny?
Everybody wants to know.
I missed it.
I'm kidding. Go ahead,
I
Lisa.
wish I could go, but I didn't.
So for Red Roof, we really think a lot about the content strategy and how to draw people in to engage them and then ultimately lead them down a path that could result in a conversion, a hotel booking. So we really try to emphasize at least half of our social media content being about fun, travel inspiration, infotainment, offering travel tips, or presenting fun pet memes because we're pet friendly. So things that are really going to draw people in and brighten their day, because we know that people are on social media to engage with their friends, their families, follow their favorite brands. So we start with that, and then we really introduce more educational information, such as information about the hotels, the destinations in which we have locations. That's maybe 20% of our content. Then we have another level of content that's really more what I consider brand cheerleading. So recognizing any honors, any new properties, any kind of great guest feedback and testimonials. And then really only about 10% of our social media content is much more about promotions and commercial objectives. But that is really where we see the return on investment as a measurable attribute. And we do actually see genuine return on investment. And I think it's because we really are so focused on drawing the user, the follower in with entertaining, fun content so that they like our posts. They want to hear from us. And then when there is a promotion or a sale or a giveaway, they're much more open to participating.
Very cool, and I'll share a little data with everyone to give you some perspective and maybe some dirty little secrets. But it's not that easy to just say, oh, I want authentic content, let me throw it out there. And whether it's to existing customers, advocates, ambassadors, influencers, whatever it may be, to share a stat at Social Native on behalf of our customers, we have activated 1.2 million unique people. And of those 1.2 million people who went out and made a video or whatever it may be, only 660,000 of them were worthy of working with a second time. And of those 660,000, only 210,000 were worthy of working with over 10 times. So there is a process here. It's not as simple as putting up a sign that says tag Adidas or whatever it may be, which is one of our customers. And at their store, they have tag Adidas in your favorite outfit. But you have to sort through a lot of content to find the winners that are driving the value that we're discussing here. Does that make sense? A lot of times I hear like, oh, UGC or influencer, it's a bit of a crapshoot. I would argue that it is. So like take the time to sort through it and find the winners. Okay, sweet. With that, passing the ball back to you, how do you decide how to allocate your time? Most of us have limited resources. There are many, many different platforms out there. Every day there's a new one. I heard of one called Peanut Butter Jar. Like what's next? How do you know? How do you stay on top of it?
I think for us at MGM Resorts, it's all about looking at the data and seeing like where our audiences are on the most, where are they interacting with us the most, engaging with us. And so, for us, we're seeing a lot of activity on Instagram Reels. TikTok is up and coming right now, and we're testing content there organically and paid. So, it's all about looking at, where those audiences are, where we're gonna, really put in our time and resources and create the content for those specific channels. So that's kind of where we're at.
And I think for us, it is constantly changing. We are, for example, a couple of months ago when we realized Reels was the direction that everything was headed, our social media team literally just said like, okay, great, we're gonna post all Reels starting now. Just like that, which was a huge shift for them for content production too. And in the next 2 months, we're able to double our engagement month over month. Like it's that kind of like fast change is how you need to keep up. And so, we're doing similar things for TikTok. We are always testing new channels and testing different content on different channels to kind of like I think we're always experimenting with at least 2 or 3 different types of content or different channels in a given month. So.
Yeah, so pretty much what they said. In our case, we're always looking to see where those repeat travelers and potential travelers are. So right now, we have 2 sections in Discover Puerto Rico for social media. We have the regular leisure channels, and then we have the MICE for the meetings, incentives, and events channels. But concentrating on leisure, right now we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. And we're now working on a strategy for TikTok. But yeah, we decide where to be, basically, like they said, just following that potential market that we're looking for. And then also, it's not only about finding the right channel, but once you find it, maximizing everything that they offer, like all the tools. For example, taking Instagram, for example, right now, Reels is a huge part of our strategy, but we also do like the regular posts, the Instagram stories, Instagram lives, Instagram guides. So we take advantage of everything that each platform has to offer. Twitter, for example, whenever there's a big pop culture moment, that we can insert ourselves into that conversation because there's Puerto Rico or a Puerto Rican involved. And then Facebook, the versatility of all the content that you can put there, website articles, link posts, you name it. So it's all about not only finding that right channel, but then once you find it, seeing all the ways you can maximize and repurpose your content.
And I think I have some similar comments to what I've heard. So we have a large following on Facebook. It's a good way for us to connect with audiences, especially mature travelers. But we just passed 1 million followers this summer. And so we're really proud of that. But a lot of it has had to do with matching the social media channel to the demographics, the interests of our audience and our guests. So we also just got on TikTok in February of this year, and it was something that we felt was a really good fit with our brand because there's so much family-oriented and pet-oriented travel, which is a really great mix for us. And we had pretty open expectations, but we developed a lot of original short-form video content for TikTok. And we just hit 32,000 followers in 7 months with 90,000 likes, and it's now the #2 social media channel for Red Roof in terms of our audience. So I think continuing to experiment, but also trying to be where your audience is and seeing what the trends are.
You know what, David, can I just add one thing? Actually,
Yes,
because
please.
that just reminded me. I feel like the other thing that's really important is being really ruthless about cutting what's not working. If you're, a couple months in and it's just not resonating, or even, we've cut channels a month in where we're not seeing any sort of traffic or engagement. It's like, this is not worth our time. We have to reprioritize to other channels that we're actually seeing bookings from.
Totally.
Powerful. A couple things I would add for everyone to think about is where are your customers? The advertising model of speaking to them because they're there, that's one way. But in social, it's a two-way conversation. So where are they talking at you, positive or negative? But where are they talking to you? And if they're talking to you on a platform where you're not present and not invested, it's a missed opportunity. And then one more thing that I'll just add to keep in mind is the function of companies like Social Native and others in the ecosystem is this is our focus. So having trusted partners empowers you with data and information. It's one thing, I'm not suggesting you have to work with them, but just staying in touch with them keeps you abreast of what's going on. Because while many brands are focused on a wide array of different things, companies like Social Native are solely focused on cracking this code on social. And so that leads to beautiful relationships. Now, I find sometimes vendor relationships are very like, buy it or don't buy it. It doesn't have to be that way. We're all building a category together. And there's a lot that we can learn from one another in the industry. And so that collective mindset is very social, because social is so ever evolving. It's not just the panelists, myself, or you that's saying, what the hell is TikTok? It's everyone, And that creates a great environment where you can brainstorm and collaborate with your peers and think through different things. Okay, cool. Quick shift of gears over to specific types of content. So many of us grew up in a long-form video content generation. We now live in a short-form video content generation. Example, when I was a child, I used to sneak out of my bed on Saturday mornings to watch Ninja Turtles. It was the only thing available on the TV channel that we had. My little boy sneaks out and he has an iPad. He watches whatever he wants, right? That's a whole different world. And they're generally watching very short form content and kind of scrolling, as we all know about. So how does a brand deal with that? How do you evolve? What's your strategy?
Strategy for long-form video content.
Short form video.
Short form video content. So, we have been looking at some of our reporting the past few months, and, there is an uptick. When I say uptick, I mean our social KPIs have increased, and our best performing content is short form video. So looping videos, cinemagraphs, which are like still photos, but something is moving. So, GIFs, anything that's 6 seconds or less, we're seeing our KPIs like skyrocket. When it comes to video views, social engagements, impressions per posts, that's where we're seeing the most successes when it comes to short form. And, we are testing some of that content too on TikTok, just not that short. We are testing, more, 30 seconds to a minute when it comes to TikTok and Reels, just, showcasing our property, highlights, food and beverage, entertainment, hotel, really, testing there and tapping into like the trends. That's where we're kind of seeing some successes on TikTok.
One thing for us, with long-form video, you have the time to tell a full story, to tell the full experience of what it's like to stay at your property or one of your properties. And so with short-form video, one thing that we've realized is we just can't squeeze that in. So we have to figure out, okay, these are our key value propositions or the key things we want to hit, and splitting it up over a series of videos and making sure that, if you are following us on a social channel or you're getting a retargeted ad, you're getting multiple elements from those short form videos, and we're not trying to focus, trying to squeeze everything into a 6-second story, because it's just not doable. So I think it also forces us to be a little bit more really focused on what each of those pieces of content is really trying to tell the story of, and making sure that we're also using that to kind of diversify across short form video when we post multiple things.
And to Marissa's point, different points resonate with different people.
Yeah.
So cutting up, like this top 6 into specific different things, like for example, the fact that you guys take pets means a lot to me. And that little 6-second or 15-second spot is enough to convert me over many, many other things. And so that's an advantage that short form video can bring to reaching consumers. Sorry, go ahead.
So in Discover Puerto Rico's case, we are very focused on the creation of Reels. This is something that has brought amazing results on our social media channels, of course, especially on Instagram. And for example, something that we do that has generated a lot of tractions on our platforms is, for example, on Earth Day, which was in April, we did Earth Month celebration, and so we created series based on a social holiday or a day that is celebrated Earth Day, and so we created a series of reels called Ecotourism in Puerto Rico, and people would see different experiences like agrotourism, ecotourism, and basically targeting conscientious travelers, the people that want to leave a positive impact on the island when they travel. So taking holidays and creating reels off of that is something that has generated great results for us. Actually, our best performing reel happened in August. August 16th is National Rum Day, and Puerto Rico is known for our rum. Of course, we have amazing world-renowned brands like Bacardi, Don Q, you name it, and then we also have the local brands like Ron del Barrilito, craft spirits. We have a ton, and so we launched that reel on August 16th, and 24 hours already had like 18,000 views, and of course that was organic. So we put a lot of attention to short form video, and for the short form, us, the social media team, takes care of that. So we create content that is more raw, I would say, which is also more approachable and less perfect. People can actually put themselves there when it's more authentic like that. But we do not neglect long form. And so for our long form video, we have a multimedia team that takes care of that intricate, more highly produced type of content. And just so you have an example, we had a very successful video series called Sounds Like Puerto Rico. And that was a 5-episode video series. Some of them were 3 minutes, others were 5 minutes long. And so what we did was feature different elements of our culture and the way they sounded like. To give you an example, the first episode, we went to El Yunque National Rainforest, which is the only rainforest in the U.S. National Forest Service. We went there so people would have an idea of what the beautiful melody of Puerto Rico's native frog, the coquí, sounded like. So, like she said, long form, we use it in a more like educational sort of way. And just so you have an idea, that video series, Sounds Like Puerto Rico, was nominated for 5 Emmys, from which we won 3. So something that we're extremely proud of, and educating people while showing them the beauty of our island is just amazing. So we use both at the same time, short form without neglecting that long form content.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, yes, you have to. Everyone does.
You sold me. I haven't even seen the video. But in Red Roof, I think we've gotten shorter and shorter with our video content. And we're also seeing a lot of success with Reels. So it feels like Reels and TikTok Day up here. But this year, we decided as a strategy, we were going to double the number of original videos that we produced and shared in Instagram, specifically for Reels, year over year. And in doing that, we saw a 22% increase in our Instagram followers just year to date. So it's definitely engaging people more than even our stories, our posts, other content there. And that's been a real success for us. And then I've talked about TikTok. It's very short form, and it is a little less produced. Even though we do produce and plan very carefully original content for TikTok, you can get away with things that are not as slick and produced feelings. In fact, it's better. We tend to see better engagement in that channel because people want to see something that is more authentic and real people, real travelers, even though a lot of our TikToks are starring animals or our Red Rufus pet mascot, but I think it still pulls people in. So the short form is really what's taken off for us.
That's great. And to expand for everyone here, how do you take advantage? We all know how to make long-form content, whether we're hiring an agency or doing production in-house. But on short-form video, you have the luxury of being able to take advantage of a gig economy that exists today with all these iPhones that everyone has. We're all making vertical videos, all of us. And your customers are making vertical videos too. Many of us think of customer content as reviews and maybe bad reviews, like, I don't want to mention my room here at this hotel. No, I'm kidding. But it doesn't have to be that way. And if you take advantage of the army of customers that you all have and you prompt them to create content around what they love about your brand, they are very likely to create short-form video content because that's the platform that's native to them, social native, right? And then that's the idea, is like, hey, maximize on this army, because in short-form video, one topic that I don't hear enough about is long-form video, you capture your attention for a period of time. Short-form video, you don't. So the only way to capture them is to give them 10, 20, 30 videos. And short-form video doesn't have to only be on the website. You guys can have a carousel of short-form video on your own channels where they can consume video content about your brand. That could be really powerful. Okay, I have to look up the other question. 1 second. And then we'll open up the floor to questions. Influencer marketing, creator economy. How are you leveraging the creator economy to connect with the future consumer, and what role does UGC play? Should we start with Lisa this time and maybe like mix it up a little?
Mix it up.
All right, Lisa, go for it.
So I'm going to start with sort of a counterpoint, and I'm interested in hearing what my fellow panelists say, but we really don't do a whole lot of work that would be considered truly UGC. We do work quite a bit with influencers, even celebrities occasionally, but we always love to share and repost any UGC content that is really brand appropriate, but we end up working a lot more with influencers. So I'll share one great success story. This past February, as part of our social responsibility program, which is called Room in Your Heart. We do this a few times a year where we work with influencers or brands to generate revenue for a good cause. And we worked this past February with MGM, with Channing Tatum, and with an organization called Canine Companions. So Canine Companions trains expert service dogs to work with people with disabilities or veterans or even organizations and companies in healthcare and education. And Channing Tatum was at that point promoting his new film Dog. So it was a really great pairing, and we ran a promotion across social media to offer guests 15% off their stays, and we would donate 5% back to Canine Companions. And promoting and working with Channing Tatum and Dog, we were able to achieve, I think it was 60% more consumed revenue year over year than just the same time frame that we had done a promotion for Canine Companions the year before. And that was probably one of the most successful fundraising as well as just general social media promotions we've done, leveraging his talent and the social influence that they brought to the table, and a really great cause. So, yeah.
So in our case, our content has a lot of UGC, of course. We are the destination marketing organization, so it's not the same having, us saying, come, you're gonna have an amazing time, and actually showing the travelers that are doing it. And that acknowledgement that when you share their picture, of course with their permission, we have a tool that we get their permission through, and they just love it. And people love seeing the authentic experience that a person is having instead of just the brand telling them, come, you're gonna have an amazing time. So I would say we post every day on our social channels, and I would say from the 7 posts, maybe 4 are UGC, 4 or 3 every week. So it is something that has definitely worked for us, but then also partnerships with influencers. And the way we do this is we have a PR agency, and they choose the right influencers for us, and so the communication is established. They know what the goal of the specific activation is, they know what the role is, and so once they start creating the content, we amplify it on our social channels, of course giving them the due credit. I would say a successful or a success story that we've had with partnerships, I'd say when it was time when it was safe to start traveling again during pandemic times, and we wanted to ease people into the idea of coming to Puerto Rico because it would take a lot more than a road trip, like I said before. We worked with highly highly trusted influencers to show the people how safe it was to travel to Puerto Rico and the amazing time that you'd have as long as you travel the guidelines and restrictions in place. And so that was last year, and last year it was the first time that lodging revenue actually surpassed the $1 billion. That was the first time that has ever happened. And also, because of that partnership and all the promotion that was sent out there to our potential travelers, the airport had 7 consecutive months of record-breaking numbers in arrivals. So partnering with influencers, but not only that, the right influencers is definitely key in our strategy.
By a quick show of hands, is anyone here doing 7 posts a day?
No, not 7 posts a day, a week. So
week.
1 post a day.
Like, damn's legit.
No. 2% team, yeah, 1 post a day.
Okay, cool. We got a minute left on the buzzer here, so I'm going to pass you the ball, Marissa.
I'll talk fast. We work with influencers in a couple of different capacities. One, obviously, to help amplify to their audiences, and that's a range of the sort of macro to micro influencers, just depending on what their engagement looks like, what their demographic looks like, what their content looks like. But on the other side of that, we also work with people who I would call more content creators who may not have such a strong following, but really create the content that we want to show on our channels, whether it's through ads or through our social platform. So we will occasionally work with them to essentially just have them create the content for us, since we have homes in over 100 destinations across the country. We cannot physically go to all of them to create the content, so we work with partners who can do that for us.
Yes, we work with influencers as well, from micro to macro to celebrity partnerships. We have actually an agency that we just signed on with that's going to really help us amplify now until the rest of the year. We also work with content creators, local content creators, photographers, videographers that help tell that story on social. And also, we do repurpose a lot of UGC as well. One recent partnership that we did have celebrity-wise, as you know, Vegas is becoming more of a sports town. And so we did partner with Davante Adams, a Raiders football player. He just became an ambassador for MGM Resorts. So, we had the opportunity to capture a lot of really great, compelling content with him, short form, long form, shout out videos, transitional TikTok style videos of him that we were able to repurpose for anything outside of organic social as well. So we actually have in the room here our director of social strategy for sports and entertainment that worked on it, Roland Cayes. Raise your hand. If you have any questions on that content, feel free to reach out to him. He did a really great job, getting that celebrity content, and that's the most recent thing we've done. And Davante shared it on his social pages. It had over 500,000 views, and it was a very successful, influencer celebrity partnership for us.
Thank you, panelists. We're going to pass the mic around for questions. No questions?
Unfortunately,
Okay,
we
Steve.
don't have time for questions.
Okay, my mistake, guys. I'm notorious for going over. I'm sorry. Just for everyone to be aware, a way to solve these problems, you have Hope all the way in the back and Aaron running around. You need software to do rights management of existing content. You need someone to reach out to all these micro, macro creators on your behalf, because we are all limited on resources. That's what we do at Social Native. And God bless. Have a great day.
All right, thank you so much. Give them a big hand.